Eredon, it is good of you to seek me out. You have grown into a fine man of the Dunedain.
When first we spoke, you said you recently passed through the Ettenmoors. Can you tell me more?
It is a rough and empty land, home to many trolls. I passed through with great haste, for I needed to reach Ривенделл as quickly as I could.
And you saw no sign of trolls?
I saw neither trolls nor fresh signs of them, and that disturbs me more than encountering one. I doubt they've all packed up and left. Mindless brute creatures they may be, yet they can be used and driven to even greater wickedness by a strong enough hand. Agendaur could well be forming them into an army.
You believe he is mustering the trolls for an attack?
That is my fear. I would gladly be proven wrong, but my heart misgives me that somewhere in the Ettenmoors, you will find them gathering and being prepared for war. We must know. Such a force could be sent against Ривенделл, perhaps in hopes of capturing the ring.
This man, Agendaur, have you ever had word of him before?
Well, I know nothing of Agendaur himself. I have seen his kind at other times in distant lands. He is likely a black Numenorian, and a master of dark sorceries.
That would make him distant kin to the Dunedain. I thought they'd long ago faded into myth. It also means he's more dangerous than I thought.
Who can say what promises Sauron has made to him? Perhaps even a ring of his own. At the very least, Agendaur expects to rule all of the North. He would be a cruel tyrant. The elves he will seek to utterly destroy. Hobbits, men, dwarves, any that survive, will be enslaved. And he will raise an iron kingdom in the north, in mockery of the ancient glory of Arnor. This is his dark dream. It must never come to pass.
The Dunedain kingdom of Arnor fell long ago. There's nothing left in much of the north save ruins. Why would Sauron build a force here?
Sauron seeks dominion over all of Middle-earth. His desire is to order all things as he sees fit. Even were these lands empty from here to the sea, still he would seek to control them. There is power in Ривенделл that could stand against him when all others fall, for a time. And this is something Sauron cannot allow.
For years I've patrolled the Shire at Aragorn's orders. I worry it may not be safe for me to abandon that duty.
Aragorn knows where you are most needed, Eredon. With the flight of the ring in this direction, the enemy is looking this way, and has forgotten the Shire for now. For now. But eventually his eye will turn once again toward the Shire, as humble as it is. Hobbits as miserable slaves would please him far more than hobbits happy and free. And there is such a thing as malice and revenge. Sauron will leave the final devastation of the Shire to his servant Agendaur. And that is yet another reason why you must find him and put an end to his designs. In opposing Agendaur, you are defending the Shire.
At Fornost, one of the great eagles came to our aid. Perhaps the eagles could help with the ring.
I don't fault you for thinking along those lines. Why not beg a ride from an eagle, fly far out to the west, and drop the ring into the deepest part of the sea? Such ideas were debated at Elrond's council. But there are many things in the deep waters, and seas and lands may change. We cannot think of our time alone. We must destroy this thing forever.
Then have an eagle fly Frodo directly to Mount Doom.
Indeed. So simple as that. You think so mighty a creature as one of the great eagles could simply waft into Mordor and escape the eye that never sleeps? No. Not all the eagles of the Misty Mountains could stand against Sauron and the full power of his ringwraiths. It would be folly. Nor, for that matter, do the great eagles take orders from us.
Pardon me. I had hoped there might be another way, and Frodo could be spared what awaits him.
You have a good heart, and I wish it could be so. We debated many such notions. I had even given thought to dragons. There was a time when dragon fire could destroy a ring of power. But even if the mightiest of the dragons of old, and Calagon the Black, were alive today, his fire would not be enough to consume the One Ring, Sauron's ring. No, there is no other way. Frodo must go to Mount Doom, and you have a foe of your own you must contend with, Agandaur. And there is no telling what allies and powers he is gathering.
I should be going. Farewell, Gandalf.
Greetings to you, Eradan. I am pleased to welcome you to my home. I had heard your name spoken with praise by Aragorn even before these recent events. You have more than proven the value of his judgment. The Dunedain are often our guests here in Imladris, but I would be pleased if you would consider this house as your home whenever you may have need of it. But I gather you are here for more than an exchange of pleasantries. Do you have questions for me?
I found this scroll at Fornost. I thought it best to bring it to your attention.
A wise decision. This is writ in the black speech of Mordor, a language I will not utter here. It is intended to instruct the reader in the use of dark sorceries.
Then it is good that we captured this from the enemy before it could cause further harm. What will become of it?
I will destroy this scroll at the very least. But wait, here I discover more. Listen to what is written herein. Scribed by the hand of Agandaur, disciple of the great Lord Sauron, for the empowerment of his servant Wulfrun and those others of his faithful who prove worthy. I will speak no more of these blasphemies, but it does say that this scroll is one of 7 such works.
So 6 more remain. Perhaps we can capture them as well.
That would be a great service to our cause. Should you recover them all, bring them to me, and I will ensure they are destroyed.
I will be certain to do so.
In the meantime, please accept this in appreciation for bringing this matter to my attention. Perhaps it will be of service to you in your travels.
There is something else. I found this tome hidden amid the ruins at Fornost. It appears to be quite old.
Ah, now this is writing of an altogether more wholesome sort. This was not made by any minion of Sauron, but rather by the men of Arthedain, likely before the fall of Fornost.
The pages are too worn and the writing too faded for me to make out much. Perhaps you can discover more.
Indeed. It seems to be a personal journal. And here is a name inscribed, M.A.L. Why, this appears to be a work of Malbeth. This...
Malbeth? The name seems somewhat familiar.
Many of the Dunedain race are gifted with foresight, but none more than Malbeth. He predicted the final destruction of the kingdom of Arthedain, which befell exactly as he had foretold. I will examine this work carefully. Who knows what other visions are here recorded? It may be that we will find something of value to us in this time of trouble. You did well in bringing this to me. Take this in way of thanks.
I am happy to have been of service. Thank you, and farewell.
Greetings, my friend. What can I help you with?
Is there anything more you can tell me about this mission to the Etenmoors?
Only that the Etenmoors are a dangerous place at the best of times. The danger will be that much greater if the orcs and trolls are being organized by an outside force. You and your friends will need to have your wits about you.
And if we do find the enemy gathering in force, what then?
You will have to determine your best course of action. But when dealing with the foul folk, it is always wise to eliminate any strong leader you may find. For without someone who can enforce discipline, they will often fall to fighting amongst themselves. If the enemy is mustering in the Etenmoors, try to recover any clues that may help us determine who is behind it and where they may be found.
Who could raise such a muster?
Agandaur would be my first guess, but it could also be a strong orc chieftain, or perhaps an unusually cunning troll. At worst, one or more of the Nazgul may have made their way there. If any of their mounts survive...
Whatever may be happening there, you will know of it. Farewell, Master Elrond.
Eredan, I am glad of this chance to speak with you. I wish to tell you how proud I am of all you have accomplished. Halbarad has taught you well, and your acts of courage honor the memory of our brothers who fell at Sarn Ford. Knowing I have the loyalty of such men strengthens my resolve.
You have traveled a great deal. Is there anything you can tell me of the Etenmoors?
Only that it is a dangerous and unforgiving place. My own grandfather Aradur was slain by trolls in the Etenmoors. It is important we learn if the enemy is active in the moors, but we do not send you there lightly. Be on your guard at all times while you venture there.
I feel I should accompany you on your quest. Let me go south with you.
The Ring-Bearer's companions have already been chosen, and I will not gainsay the wisdom of Elrond and Gandalf in this matter. I know it is hard for you to remain behind, but until now you have always dedicated yourself to protecting the people of the North. I would ask you to continue to do so, for the servants of the enemy are found in many places, not in Mordor alone.
There are times I wonder why we do it. We have little enough thanks from those we protect.
Need I answer that? You do it because you know it is right. The North would have known little peace but for us. What roads would any dare travel? What safety would there be in these lands if we had abandoned our self-appointed duty? And too, you do it because of your faith in my line, and in me. You and the others believe that I am the rightful king of the lost realm of Arnor, and it is the duty of a king to protect his subjects. I know it is in your heart, Eredan. You are one of the king's men, even if the king has no throne. Never believe that I am not grateful for such devotion. I will do all I can to justify your faith.
You go now to claim your rightful place as the King of Gondor.
Above all, I go to help Frodo fulfill his quest. For unless the ring is destroyed, Gondor will soon fall, king or no king.
I gather you had never heard of Agandaur before these recent events.
I had never heard nor dealt with Agandaur specifically, but I know his kind. Years ago, I served in disguise in the armies of Gondor, where I contended with the corsairs of Umbar, who were often led by those akin to Agandaur. These black Númenóreans are a corrupt and wicked race. They worship Sauron as a god and seek the utter destruction of all who oppose him.
I would like to know more about those chosen to be part of your fellowship.
Who is it that interests you?
What about Gandalf? What can you tell me of him?
To know all there is to know of Gandalf would require a lifetime study. There is much about him that remains a mystery, even to me. Yet he is a relentless foe of Sauron, and without his vigilance the ring would already be in the hands of the enemy. His wisdom and leadership will be of great value to the Fellowship.
What about this man of Gondor, the one called Boromir? If he hails from Gondor, then he is one of our long-sundered kin. But what else do you know of him?
Boromir is the son of Denethor, the steward of Gondor. I had never met him before Elrond's council, but long years ago, under another name, I served his grandfather Ecthelion. The men of Gondor are valiant and strong, and by all accounts Boromir is foremost among them in courage and skill at arms. I suspect we will have need of his sword before our quest is through.
What can you tell me of the dwarf Gimli?
I have spent little time among dwarves, but Gimli is one of Durin's folk, and the dwarves of that line are trusted by Elrond, in spite of the differences that sometimes divide elves and dwarves. If Gimli is like most of his kin, he will prove loyal and stout-hearted, enduring in hardship and fierce in battle.
Tell me about the wood elf, Legolas.
It is fitting that we have a representative of the Eldar, the elves, along with us on this venture. They have been foes of Sauron since before the ancestors of the Dunedain first returned to the shores of Middle-earth. Legolas is keen of eye and ear, and he is unmatched as a bowman. His arrows seldom miss their mark.
What about these other hobbits? Is it wise to send so many of the little folk on this quest?
We are asking much of Frodo. Until recently, he had never set foot outside the confines of the Shire. It will be a comfort for him to have the familiar companionship of his friends and kin, in the face of so much that will be new and frightening. I have traveled with these hobbits, and they proved far more courageous and hardy than many would suspect.
Good luck to you.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Imladris. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? You and your companions did very well there. Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been there. You have earned some time to recover from the toils of battle and hard travel. And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
It is pleasant, but I shall not stay long. I have promised to scout the Edenmoors for signs of the enemy. But what of you? I cannot believe the two of you will remain idle for any length of time.
No, indeed. We are to set off at once on a similar mission to your own. Only we will travel south, seeking for signs of the Nazgul or other threats. Aragorn will accompany us at least part of the way.
I may be in need of a few things before we set out. Is there anyone I can speak to about that?
If it is provisions or other supplies you need, you should speak with Alari. And if your arms and armor need tending, seek out Angmir. Both of them may be found nearby.
Aragorn frequently travels and fights beside you, does he not?
Yes, we often venture forth in company with the Dunedain, and none more frequently than Aragorn. He was raised here in our household, after all.
How is it that a man came to be raised here among elves?
It is a tradition for the heirs of Isildur to be fostered in the House of Elrond. We have sheltered all the chieftains of the Dunedain from the time the Northern Kingdom ceased to be down to this present day. Aragorn is the 16th in line from father to son to spend his early years in Imladris. This is one reason why the bond between our two peoples is so strong.
How was it you happened to be at Fornost?
We often ride far afield hunting the orcs, wherever we may find them. We came upon signs of a large band of goblins making their way from the orc hold of Mount Gram and followed their trail to Fornost, where we lost no time in attacking them.
Will you tell me more about your family? I know Elrond is your father.
Yes, it was he who established the refuge of Imladris. My brother and I have dwelt here all our lives. Our sister Arwen dwells here as well, although she has spent many years in the company of our grandmother.
What of your mother? Does she dwell here also?
Our mother has crossed the sea and left Middle-earth. It is a bitter tale to tell. Many years passed. On a journey across the misty mountains, our mother was captured by orcs. We searched the mountains without rest until we found her at last. Our father was able to heal her injuries, but the memory of her torment was too terrible for her to bear. At last she chose to depart for the Undying Lands. Perhaps now you understand why our hatred for the orcs is so great.
That is a sad tale. I am sorry to have reminded you.
No, my friend. We have drawn swords together in the same cause. You have earned our trust. We do not wish to keep anything hidden from you. This is the evil that we have pledged our lives to destroy, just as you have.
I wish you luck. Goodbye. I thought it rare to find one dwarf so far from home. Yet here is another. If I may say, there's something about you that reminds me of my companion Farin.
Gimli, son of Glóin, at your service. Your eyes serve you well, Ranger. Farin is indeed a kinsman of mine and a most valiant dwarf. And if I may say, your own fame has gone before you. You fought well at Fornost, and I hear much praise of your exploits. Most impressive, though of course you had Farin's help.
I must concede the usefulness of a dwarf in battle. He wields his weapon to good effect, as long as he stays clear of my knees.
Useful? I dare say you'll find him more than useful. Why, he's a hero of the Battle of the Five Armies. Men, elves, and dwarves against orcs and goblins. And many an orc has felt the caress of his axe.
Farin said no word of other kin coming to join him. What brings you here to Imladris?
Aye, it's a long march from the halls of Erebor, but grim news goes on swift feet. It was for Bilbo's sake we came, with a warning that the servants of Sauron wished to find him and his ring. Thrice a Black Rider came to the front gate of Erebor, demanding news of Bilbo, and threatens to return once more. Ere that should happen, King Dain sent my father, Glóin, to seek the advice of Elrond. You've heard the results of the council? I see you have. I have sworn to protect Frodo upon his quest, an oath I will fulfill though all the orcs of Middle-earth stand in my way.
When do you leave for the south?
Not soon enough for my liking. Elrond is sending scouts many leagues in all directions, and we will wait for their news. They search for signs of any Nazgul that may have survived the flooding of the river. And there are other threats besides, as you well know. My heart forebodes that the north is not safe.
Elrond has asked us to scout the Etten but what is it that worries you about the north?
I like not what I've heard of this Agendaur you drove from Fornost. He could yet cause grief untold. There are rumors of gatherings of orcs, goblins, and other deadly foes growing in strength. When the Dark Lord strikes, there will be more than one land that feels his wrath. I fear for the Shire and Ривенделл. It would ease my heart to know that you'll look to the defense of the north for as long as you're needed. With help from Farin, of course.
For my part, you have my word on it. And I have no doubt your trustworthy kinsman and Andriel will stand by my side.
Hello. You are Aradan, aren't you? I was hoping I would get a chance to speak with you.
And you are Frodo Baggins. Aragorn and Gandalf have told me about you. And your burden.
Likewise, they have told me all about you. I wanted to thank you and your friends for all you did to keep us safe on our journey to Ривенделл.
You are most welcome, Frodo. It is only now that we have learned just how important our task was. I am pleased we were able to help.
It seems as if I owe everyone thanks. You, Aragorn, Elrond. Without the help of each of you, I wouldn't be here now.
It is we who should thank you. To have come this far through so many perils shows a great deal of courage.
Thank you for saying so, but I don't feel brave, just very fortunate.
Courage comes in many forms, Frodo. Of your own free will, you have chosen to bear the ring into Mordor. You may well be the most courageous person I have ever known.
I'll try to bear that in mind. I only hope I can measure up to everyone's expectations.
I have a strong feeling you will. In the meantime, you should rest and recover your strength.
Well, my friend, it's an honor to make the acquaintance of one of Farin's valiant companions. I'm Glóin, son of Groin, from the Lonely Mountain.
And one of Bilbo's companions in the quest to slay the dragon Smaug. It's an honor to meet such a famous dwarf. I'm Eredon of the Dunedain.
I heard about that business at Sarn Ford, and they say the three of you brought down an orc chieftain at Fornost. I expect I'll be hearing of even greater deeds before long. It does my heart good to see a dwarf, an elf, and a man working together again. Reminds me of the old days, it does, when the three kindred fought alongside one another in the Battle of the Five Armies.
What could have been important enough to bring you all the way from your distant home?
I came at the bidding of my lord, King Dain. My son Gimli and a few companions came with me, for all paths grow dangerous under the spread of the shadow. With the enemy seeking news of Bilbo, Dain thought we should come to Elrond for counsel. I never imagined what I'd learn when we got here, but it may be wise to say no more.
Aragorn has told us that Frodo bears the One Ring.
Alas, that we should live in such times. Well, Frodo knows what he must do. If I were younger, I'd go with him. But we must each serve where we are most needed, even as you must, with such friends as you trust.
And where do you think I am needed the most?
That's plain as the beard on my face. It's right here, of course. You've uncovered a deadly enemy in this Agandaur. As long as he's free to carry out Sauron's will, he'll gather more orcs, goblins, and trolls to his banner. Ривенделл, the Shire, the Brelands, no place will be safe from his wrath. He must be stopped.
Sauron's attention will be focused largely on the south. Perhaps if we thwart his plans here, it will distract him. That could benefit Frodo and the Fellowship on their quest.
That's my thoughts upon the matter, too. Be the stinging fly in the ointment, as it were. Only this fly's sting will be deadly. And it's time to be about your business. Goodbye, and good luck to you.
Hello, you are one of the Dunedain, are you not? Please allow me to introduce myself. Bilbo Baggins at your service.
Eredon, at yours.
Always happy to meet one of the Guardians of the North. I've heard about what you and your friends did to help my Frodo and the Dunedain reach Rivendell safely. You'll have to tell me all about it one of these days so I can write it all down properly.
I have heard many tales about you, Mr. Baggins. You are something of a legend.
Oh, all greatly exaggerated, I assure you. And of course there was the incident with facing the dragon Smaug, and I did save Thorin Oakenshield and his companions from the spiders of Mirkwood, as well as rescuing them from captivity in the Elven King's halls. Oh yes, yes, those were great days.
I heard those stories told across the campfire, while the Rangers kept watch over your homeland.
Most of my kin have no idea of the sacrifices others have made for their safety. But those of us who do are grateful. More grateful than I can say. I've written all about it, so perhaps they will learn about it someday soon.
The Dunedain. In the Elvish, that signifies man of the West. One of my people.
Yes, indeed, but when I say it, I mean Aragorn, of course. The Dunedain, he is often called here. A remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough to write it all down.
What is it you write?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. History, my past adventures, family trees. I've even begun a book of translations from the Elvish, although lately I've been working on poetry mostly. Say, maybe you could help me with that. I'm writing a poem for Aragorn, and I'm a bit stuck on a line or two.
Is that so? Well then, let me hear what you have.
Very well, very well. The verse that's giving me trouble runs like this. Ahem. The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled.
The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled. The scion of Westernese kings.
Why, yes, yes, that's just the thing, isn't it? Oh, my friend, you should consider exchanging those weapons of yours for the poet's pen.
One day, perhaps. But for now, we have more need of warriors than poets.
Oh, I'm afraid you're right, but since these old hands are not much use with the sword, I'll just keep on with the pen. Though I'll need some help. Perhaps you could show this to the Lady Arwen. She has her people's gift with words, and this touches her deeply after all.
Arwen? Who is she?
Why, she's Elrond's daughter, of course, and Aragorn's beloved as well. Although you didn't hear that
I will take it to her.
Ah, thanks very much. Be sure to give her my compliments, won't you?
I will indeed. Farewell now.
Welcome, Eridan. I suspected you would find your way here before long.
I have gathered a few artifacts of interest on my travels. I believe you might be able to help me with them.
Ah, these are work of Westernese, the lost land of Numenor. The men who forged these items were skilled indeed. You have the makings of a unique weapon here. Although these components were never part of a single work, I believe you have assembled everything I would need to make it so. The finished weapon would undoubtedly carry some elven qualities.
What do you mean by that?
Only that with a work such as this, the finished product is liable to reflect the nature of the smith who assembles it. If, for example, a dwarven smith were to complete this weapon, it might possess quite different qualities from the weapon I would create.
I would be pleased if you would undertake this task.
Very good. I will get started at once. There, it is finished. May this serve you well, my friend.
You have done my ancestors proud, Angmir. Thank you.
Welcome, Eric. I suspect...
Pardon my curiosity, but you don't appear to be one of Elrond's people.
No. I am one of the woodland folk of Mirkwood. My name is Legolas Greenleaf, the son of Thranduil, king of the Woodland Realm. But I too am curious. You don't appear to be one of the men of Dale, nor one of the Bjornings.
I'm Eridan, one of the Rangers of the North, the Dunedain.
Ah, one of those who follow Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
What brought you on such a long and perilous journey?
Unpleasant business. My father sent me to report the escape of Gollum, a creature Aragorn had entrusted to our care.
What can you tell me about this Gollum?
A pathetic creature who long held the Ring of Power. The evil of the ring has left him twisted and tormented. His only thought is to recover what was taken from him.
How did Gollum manage to escape your guard?
Not from a lack of watchfulness, but perhaps from too much kindness. We occasionally allowed Gollum to go about the wood under close guard. But on one of these ventures, the guards were attacked by orcs from Dol Guldur. In the confusion, Gollum escaped. We followed his tracks southward for many leagues, until it drew near to Dol Guldur. There, it became too dangerous to pursue him any further.
Tell me about Mirkwood.
Mirkwood is the greatest woodland in all of Middle-earth. It was called Greenwood the Great, before the shadow of Sauron fell over it. In ages past, it was a place of great beauty. But now, it is filled with darkness and dread, save only in the north where my father's realm is maintained.
Will you be departing for your home soon?
No. I have been chosen to represent Elvenkind among the Company of the Ring. I will be accompanying the halfling, Frodo Baggins, on his journey south.
It seems strange that with so many elves in his own household to consider, Elrond chose to make you a member of the Fellowship.
I asked for the privilege, and Elrond did not refuse me. I feel he may have been relieved not to lose any of his household to this quest. He will have need of all his strength, should the enemy move against Imladris.
I am curious why you would volunteer for this.
Partially to make amends for the loss of Gollum, but more so because this will be the final chapter in our long struggle against the darkness. And I wish to have a hand in our final victory. Or at least, to stand in the forefront of our last act of defiance.
May fortune favor your fellowship in the days ahead, Legolas.
My Govannen, well met and welcome to the safe haven of Imladris.
My Govannen, Lady Arwen. It is a great honor.
The Dunedain are always welcome here. You have endured great danger and given us urgent warning of a new threat to the north. For this, we honor you, Eredan.
It is my duty as a ranger, nothing more. I am glad to be of service to my Lord Aragorn.
You show the modesty worthy of a hero. Estelle and my brothers have spoken highly of your courage at Fornost, and I thank you for your part in seeing to my brother's safe return. Please, take your ease and rest a while in our halls. You will find all your heart could desire, whether it be food, drink, song, or storytelling.
I have an errand I must not forget. Here is an unfinished poem from Bilbo. He asked for your opinion and advice, saying the subject is very close to your heart.
Then it must be about Estelle. He is fond of writing verses in honor of his good friend, and therefore often comes to me for advice. You may leave it with me, Eredan. I will give it some thought and answer him myself.
Thank you, lady. Perhaps the time will come when I can enjoy these gentle arts, but that time is not today. Your father has tasked me with scouting the Ettenmoors.
Then I will not keep you, but we may be of service to one another. I am helping my father brew a potion known as Miraval. One sip of Miraval can renew heart and soul, and bring new vigor to weary limbs. I am in short supply of certain rare ingredients that may be found in the Ettenmoors. If I gave you a list of the ingredients, perhaps you could bring any you find while carrying out your mission. With enough ingredients, I will return the favor by brewing an extra flask that you may have for your own use.
Gladly, Lady Arwen. That is a generous offer. Should I find what you require, I will return to you once my mission is complete.
This is rough country, no mistake. But so far, we've seen no sign of trouble.
But the moors stretch on for many leagues. It would be easy to miss something in these rugged crags and valleys.
Let us continue the search, but be
Foul
wary.
creatures!
More than one ranger has been lost in these wild lands.
Come on, you face-hunted scum!
Help me! here. I will shield us from their arrows and bolts.
Greetings, my friends. I could scarce believe what I saw from above. But elf, dwarf, and man battling the enemy together, such things are not often seen. I knew it had to be you.
Is that you, Belaram? I never thought we'd meet again so soon.
Nor did I. It does seem a strange coincidence, but a happy one, nonetheless.
How is it that you happen to be here in the Ettenmoors?
I serve as a scout for my people. We are at war with the stone giant Bargrasar, who has attacked us without cause.
A stone giant? I thought such creatures existed only in children's stories.
Oh, they're real, all right. My kinsmen encountered them once while crossing the Misty Mountains. They never mentioned the creatures were hostile, though.
They seldom are. Eagles and the stone giants have shared the mountain heights without conflict for many generations. But this giant, Bargrasar, is different. Without provocation, he ambushed some of our people, taking them unaware and striking them down with hurled boulders. Many of our areas he also destroyed, along with the defenseless fledglings who nested there. Gwaihir summoned his strength to punish the giant, but he fled before us. We believe he has come here to the Ettenmoors, where he is gathering an army of orcs and trolls. Bargrasar is a threat to all. The sooner he is destroyed, the safer we shall be.
Could it be we will have more giants to contend with other than Bargrasar?
I do not believe so, for we have learned Bargrasar is an outcast among his own kind. They disowned him for past crimes, and will offer him no protection from our vengeance.
Gandalf the Grey traveled here some weeks ago, and he passed through unhindered. Yet now the hills and vales are alive with enemies. Is it always so?
These moors are always dangerous, a breeding ground for trolls and orcs. But even here, it is unusual to see so many enemies openly assembling. The presence of Bargrasar makes them bold. They believe he will lead them to the bloodshed and plunder they crave. And it may well be, unless the giant is destroyed.
Do you and your kin make your home in the Ettenmoors?
No, we keep our areas atop the high peaks of the nearby Misty Mountains. We have come to the Ettenmoors in pursuit of Bargrasar.
A threat to the Eagles is a threat to us all. Let us join with you in the hunt for this giant.
Your aid would be most welcome. Together we may be able to best him. Every hour he lives, his following grows greater. Let us press on!
face of Dunadan now!
Ah, a hidden Dunedain cache.
You haven't got the stomach to face me!
Death take you all!
Do you fear to face a dwarf?
Here! To me if you need healing!
To face a dwarf!
Aya Rirvendelll!
Healing.
You haven't got the stomach to face me! I need healing!
The dwarf has fallen! Aid him!
No match for me!
my thanks.
less reckless with your life.
Many thanks. Let's get back to it.